The In It Together with Lori Lynn Greene talk show is a positive way to start your day. Ready for some encouragement?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped. Let's let the healing begin.
Come be inspired, hear moving stories, even laugh out loud.
Can't make heads or tail of what I'm saying.
Just incomprehensible.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You'll hear real people doing real things to make a real impact.
You are heroes every day.
Hear honest, compassionate, engaging issues you care about.
You see people come together to do good in our community, and the more we come together, the more good we can do.
Listen in and get started on redesigning your life and hear what's positive in Greater Manchester. Here's your happy host, Lori Lynn Greene.
Good morning, friends in Greater Manchester. Welcome to In It Together. We are so glad that you've tuned in. If you'd like to find us on the web, you can go to inittogether.net, listen live or to previous shows, even link to our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. And if you like and follow us, you'll see that we are bringing out the best in people to influence positive change in this community and beyond. Today is It's a Wonderful Life with my friend Marc Major here, coach, speaker, and executive director of the John Maxwell team. And what are we talking about today?
We are talking about adjusting for rapid change, adapting your leadership styles.
Oh, very important. All right, we will be back right after this. Stay tuned.
Marc Major knows that great coaches need constant training to be effective. As a certified coach, teacher, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, Marc can help you identify and activate your personal and professional goals. If you seek to do more and be more, look up Marc on the web at johnmaxwellgroup.com/MARC Major or call 603-674-6818. Marc Major, growing leaders and adding value.
Hi, I'm Ron Moore, anchor of the Storm Chaser segment, where we'll talk about severe weather in history, science, and today. Join me Fridays at 9 a.m. where you'll learn to be ready for any storm that comes your way. Only on In It Together with Lori Lynn Greene.
Hi, this is Lori Lynn Greene, advancement strategist and coach trainer at alphaadvancementstrategies.com. Join me Mondays at 9 a.m. where I'll talk about ways to help keep you moving forward in life. Only on In It Together with Lori Lynn Greene. Back to In It Together, kicking off It's a Wonderful Life. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you, Marc.
Good morning. How's it going?
It is going very well on this beautiful slushy morning.
Yeah.
It's melting. Let's not cry about it.
It's all good. Hey, we're already in mid-February, so a few more weeks. Actually, a few more weeks I'll be in Orlando, so that'll be all good. Orlando, with the rest of my John Maxwell team, friends, members, and other coaches, etc. And John Maxwell himself. So
right.
It's always a fun week.
I would like to welcome our live streamers. I know that it seems like we've been interrupted a few times here. I am not sure why the live video is being interrupted. I'm talking to others who are in this building saying, please don't live stream while I'm on live stream.
Right, exactly.
It's not a good idea. All right, well, I'm going to run this. I'm going to try to run it. Oh,
sure.
Here we go. It looks like it's running now.
All right.
So welcome to all of our, internet radio listeners, and also to our Facebook live streamers. We welcome all of you here. We appreciate you, and we apologize for this first. This is a first for us. Could be the weather.
Could be.
I don't know. I'm hoping it continues to catch us on here anyway.
Well, the groupies will hang with us.
Yeah. Today's topic is a pretty good one. I was thinking about this over this morning after I looked at it, but we have to learn how to adapt to changing circumstances, but we have to learn how to do it rapidly.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking this morning on the way over how quickly technology has changed and how our leadership has to change because of the times. And just think about information. We have access to more information now than we've ever had. and technology. I tell people, I grew up in the 60s where I can remember going to my grandmother's house because it was a big deal because they just got a color TV, right? Now I watch the ball game on my phone. And that's only in a few short years, really.
We joke around that they had remote controls back then, too, and say, hey, you dummy, go change the channel.
The remote control at my house was, Mark, go change the channel. Of course, we only had about 6, so there wasn't a lot to choose from.
Right.
But technology changes just so much. And, really, these days, you really have to be willing to adapt and make leadership changes that, positively enhance your organization and the people in the organization. And it seems like we're always making decisions on the fly now. Before
Right.
It seemed like, if you wanted to have a 10-year plan and a 5-year plan and a 2, well, now if you have much more than a 2-year plan, it's pretty outdated.
Right.
I was reading a survey that said by the time you're done paying off your college loan, the stuff you learned in college is probably mostly outdated.
Mm-hmm.
That's how crazy it is. And
That's
so, if we're not flexible, if we're not adaptable as leaders, especially if you lead an organization, whether it's in business or a church, whatever it is, you're going to fall behind. And the big part with that is I think you're really going to miss some opportunities that lie before you because you don't take advantage of things quickly enough.
Yeah, and it is a thin line sometimes, to be the one that has to make the decisions.
I don't know if you're familiar with Carly Fiorina. She led Hewlett-Packard and got them out of a mess when she was there for 6 years, and they were interviewing her. And she was mentioning, she's a brilliant woman, by the way. In fact, she ran for president. Actually, I voted for her in the primary, believe it or not, because I thought she made the most sense. But anyway, I was listening to her, and she was saying at the time, HP was this huge corporation with all these different divisions, and what happened is they became stagnant over time because they kind of lost their vision and they stopped adapting. When you get to this point where it's like, well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, if you have that attitude, you're going to lose market share, you're going to lose customers, you're going to lose your way, and first thing you know, your company's going to disappear.
Right. Yeah, and that's not a good thing because here's what we've learned. Our business, a lot of things in our personal life have to translate into our business.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be good or bad depending on where you are.
Right.
And so it's very important that everything that we're doing comes from a place of who we're being first.
Right.
And that's really the strength of any company, really, is the person behind it.
Who you're being, and it's important not only to be a person who is adaptable and willing to change, but the people you surround yourself with have to be as well. Otherwise, they just become an anchor on to your business and kind of slow you right down. So who you surround yourself with, that inner circle that we talk about, is incredibly important.
It is important, and that again, that's one of those things that's a really thin line, especially for someone. The biggest thing is empathy. You have to be an empath in order to run something. Mm-hmm. And what is that? It's being able to read people. It's being able to know what's happening with them and knowing when they're just struggling and need help, or if they're just choosing not to join the vision.
Right, and as a leader. You have to know sometimes whether somebody just needs a pat on the back and encouragement, or kick in the pants sometimes is what people need. And you hate to say that, but I can remember times as a manager, leading, especially in sales, but especially in retail. Sometimes people were underperforming and had to have some serious conversations and say, hey, I really enjoy having you here, but here's what we need to do if we want to continue to have you being here. And sometimes that's all it took to get the message. Some people never get the message, but hopefully people they do, because let's face it, when you hire people on and you've been working with them for a while, and you enjoy working with them, and you're growing and you're going up, you want to take people with you. You don't want to have to be leaving them behind, but sometimes it's a necessary thing.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, you still, again, being an empath, you want to help those that you can. For instance, I was just envisioning you used to manage stores, and you had somebody, retail, who'd be working with you and having a day where they're not doing well. And the way to maybe approach it is, hey, what's going on with you? To find out that, my child has 102 fever.
Exactly.
I got to get some medicine. All I'm thinking about is getting home to my child.
Yep.
What would be the response to that? It's like, you know what? Go home. I'm going to call somebody else, and you need to go take care. And this is what we're talking about. It's like you can't just say, okay, you're fired.
And that's
not
the
doing
pat on
what
the back
I want.
I'm talking about, because you have to be able to know what the circumstances are before you just react. You have to. We always talk about responding versus reacting. Well, if you're responding, you're finding out and asking questions why a certain person might not be doing well,
especially if you've known them to do well.
Exactly.
In the past. So there's a couple of things I'm thinking here. One is, first off, is you don't want to jump the gun when you're dealing with somebody like that. You want to make sure that you can find out what's really going on, and if there's something in your power to help that situation going forward. And the other thing is, and I'll tell you, when they come back, they're going to work for you well when you do that. The other thing is don't accept from someone what you won't accept from yourself. But then don't ask from someone what you're not willing to do. Those are two really big things that I try to live by.
Yeah, well, I know for myself, especially in retail, I clean toilets, so
wow, hey.
So you can't get much lower of a job than that. So, hey, if I can do it, I'm the boss and I can do it. I don't expect anybody to complain if I ask them to go do something.
And that's the thing. If you're one of those bosses that you never do anything, never get your hands dirty, you're not down in the dirt with some of the people, and you're barking orders, you're a perfect candidate for coaching and personal development, because a great leader is somebody who walks the walk, and like I said, they don't accept from people what they won't accept from themselves, but they also don't expect from them what they're not willing to do.
Right. People will look at what you do much more than what you say. Well,
they don't care what you do unless they know.
And they don't. They don't care what you know unless they know that you care either. So that's but. Getting back to being adaptable and willing to change, it can be such a fine line, because sometimes you're in the middle of a situation where the market is changing. For example, I know a lot of times. Let's think about computers for a minute. I've spoken to people that by the time an iPhone is out, well, the next model's already, 95% done. So how long do you keep the current model out on the market before you introduce